And we're back with an all-new episode of Keep It. I'm Louis Fertel, and we'll get started on this episode. But first, I'm so sorry, Taylor. I had to do it.
The way you really Julie Chen Moonves the shit out of me just then. Like it ignited something in me that I wasn't prepared for.
No, it reminds me of when our mutual friend Andy Herron, who won Big Brother,
yes,
when he got off the show, the first time I was talking to him, he jumped at one point because he thought he had a mic on him. Like, you're like a little, there's trauma associated with being on this show.
You think you have the mic on you, and you think that every window is a two-way mirror, or that anything mounted is a camera. So you'll start talking to it, and you're like, no one is seeing this. Okay,
yes.
Never mind.
But anyway, we're here with royalty and a legend of Big Brother, and perhaps a legend of another CBS reality show coming up. This is Big Brother 24 winner, Taylor Hale. Also just a friend of mine, and I'm psyched to have her here just anyway.
Did I tell you, this is a dream? Like, coming off my season, my second appearance on Keep It,
yes.
I came off and I was like, I want to go on Keep It. I love the show. It is my podcast. These people are my friends in my heads. And now I'm replacing Ira Madison III.
And I have to tell you, it feels so good.
Finally, right?
Yeah, no, fate has stepped in and it's smiling on us. But as we said, you were also in Big Brother Reindeer Games.
I was.
You also, and again, are now going to be a contestant on The Amazing Race. And I have to say, these are just two completely different skill sets. Like, I have weird pipe dreams of being on Big Brother myself, and I would never be on The Amazing Race. I have no lateral sense of direction.
Well, that's why you have a partner. Who would you do it with?
Oh God, well, they would do all the work. I mean, I would be giving one-liners to the camera, and they would be like, "Louis, I solved the map."
Great. So you're doing all the work for carrying the show.
Yes.
You're welcome, CBS.
Making us a saleable pair. But has Amazing Race ever been in your purview? Like, did you ever think this would be you?
Yeah. It's a funny story, actually. So, oh my God, you're doing the ET lean.
Right now. Yes.
He's really trying to get it out of me. So after Big Brother, of course, I ended up in a relationship with who's now my best friend, Joseph Abden. Joseph is also on this season of The Amazing Race.
But not with you.
Not with me. He's with his brother, who's also a very close friend of mine. We've all gone on vacation. So doing The Amazing Race was always something that I thought Joseph and I would end up doing together, whether we were best friends or, then partners, whatever. And when they contacted me about doing The Amazing Race, I was like, oh, finally, like, me and Joseph are going to do it together. They said, no, absolutely not. No, like, no. And they tried to keep it from all of us that it would be a Big Brother themed season in some capacity.
Right. Yeah.
And so they were like, you have to pick someone else. And I was like, oh, okay, well, like, I'd like to do it with Kylan. And they're like, no, you can't do it with anyone from Big Brother. So I was like, well, then I'm just not interested. No, thank you. And then, so I was in the process, removed myself from the process. And then they circled back and they said, actually, okay, I think we might be able to make it work with you and Kylan. And so I was like, okay, like, let's go full throttle and really commit and train and do the show. So
what does training mean? Does that mean you are like solving clues in your own time, or what's happening?
So we haven't even, oh my God, he and I have not talked about how we're going to talk about this because we don't want to give away too much.
Oh,
but
I'm going to break through this non-media training.
I know, this is new for me. I'm like having hives right now. But we went all in. Like, we did kayaking lessons. We both took lessons on how to drive stick shift, which was very funny in its own right. We were doing New York Times puzzles every day. We were doing other special apps you can download to train your math skills, your reading comprehension skills, other just like pattern recognition skills, all these different things. What else did we do? We used ChatGPT a lot. I'm sorry, I know you're going to hate me. But we would literally travel to other cities across California and meet up with friends and race against them in like ChatGPT designed Amazing Race style things.
Oh, well, I mean, that's just so smart. I mean, also these are things you're preparing in good faith for. It's sort of like if you go on, I'm trying to think of like Survivor, like there's certain kind of puzzles you will face. You know what I mean? Like, you should prepare for them. When people are caught unawares on a reality show, it's like we're on season like 77 of some of these. These are like institutions. If you aren't fluent in the language of this show, you look like an idiot.
Exactly. Just show up, be prepared, do your research. You don't need to know every single thing about every single season, but like know what you're getting into. And like, we had so much fun, and the race is very hard. I took a cartography class. I learned how to read maps. When you actually go on the race, like, they don't really give you useful maps to get around. And so you're literally running up to people being like, I need your phone right now. And then they give you your phone. You're like, what is this language? What does that mean?
Oh God, that's like my nightmare. Yeah, because they give you like coloring book illustrations to work off of.
Basically. And so like, let's say you give me your phone, you're some other language. Now I'm like trying to change your phone settings to another language. And then now I gotta give you your phone back. And it's just, I won't say hellish, but like, communicating quickly when you have that much pressure on and you're racing against all these people. It's a lot. And I think you'll see a side of me that maybe you haven't seen before. I think people are used to seeing me being an underdog, or Reindeer Games was a very, very short form competition game, which was fun, but I'm under like a lot of stress, a lot of pressure.
Even on Big Brother during the worst moments, you were quite composed.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing it just unravel. You come from pageants, and I want to see the pageant past just disappear.
No, there's going to be a look in my eyes of just like, everything melts away. Everything is ripped away, torn away. And I had quite a few crash outs on Pork Island.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, I'm looking forward to
Whether or not they'll show it, I don't know. But yeah, there are a couple times where I was like, it was all out there.
Well, speaking of hellish TV, and Just Like That just ended. And I know we are both stans of the original Sex and the City, and I fell off in Just Like That. I'm not somebody who watches any TV, ironically, even when I thought the show was bad, the actresses who were on the show are so amazing and so gifted in many capacities. These are, Sarah Jessica Parker and Cynthia Nixon are as talented stage actresses as they are TV actresses. They could sell anything. But the finale of the show clearly was not supposed to be the finale. I've never seen anything just abruptly end like this with so much patter in an episode that did not matter.
My thing is, why are we ruining sacred texts? Let's start there. And Just Like That never needed to happen. This could have been a mini web series. This could have been a podcast. It could have been a recap of a podcast. Like, we didn't need to touch this. The movies were enough. Please. Yeah. I didn't need And Just Like That. Even the modernization of these older women. And I'm so sorry. Cancel me if you want. Diversifying their friend group was not necessary because it wasn't realistic.
And also, it didn't add dimension to them, I don't think.
It flattened them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which sucks in a way. But at the same time, I never thought that they should just do a podcast. And that would have been better. Talking about the old show and how things would have been different now, as opposed to just, warping the show, which is what ended up happening.
It's like 2025 was this fake alternate universe where they were trying to adapt these characters to that world instead of the world adapting to those characters. And it just left all of us feeling so hollow and empty. And it's like, I don't want to say that the fashion and the style wasn't there in this series, but it doesn't hit in the way that it would have with the original series. Like the partnership with the style and the fashion and the way that these women moved around the world was influential on all of American culture and society. Now I think we have too much power to influence the texts and the media that we're consuming. So, and Just Like That it didn't move the needle. It didn't influence us. We influenced it too much. And it just made it this hollow, empty thing. And I am so curious, what do you think the actresses were thinking when they read the scripts? Were they like, this is amazing and I love it and I have to do more of it? Or were they just like, we gonna get this check, y'all? Because
I guess, the check was very sincerely huge. So
do you know how huge?
Well, according to Variety, they made $1 million an episode. So Friends final season energy.
It's very 90s of them.
Yeah. I'm so happy they're in their own economics.
They're just not committed to the new era by any way, shape, or form.
No.
I wanted more for them.
But I will say this about And Just Like That. I appreciate that it has changed the sort of boilerplate conversations we have about Sex and the City. As in, when the original series ended, I feel like what we were left with, even among us superfans, were conversations about, oh, well, it's dated in a few ways. Carrie's unlikable. We were having these boring, repetitive conversations that didn't really give the show credit for how amazing it was.
Right.
And now we have a whole new set of conversations about how awful the show is. And people are so much more baffled and confounded that it's a little bit more fun.
Oh, that's fun for you.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's fair. I would rather, no, that's not fair, actually. I would much rather have people just look back at something that exists and say, oh, well, it's dated or it doesn't land this way the same way, instead of me having this whole thing that I have to just hate.
Yeah, but I feel like it's going to fade from memory, though, too.
You think this will fade from memory?
I mean,
it's so bad that it sticks with you like oatmeal in perpetuity. You can't even poop it out. It's so bad.
And by the way, there was a poop storyline on the final episode of the show.
Which, see what I'm saying? The closest we got to a poop storyline on the original text, two opportunities were probably like the peeing politician.
Right.
All right.
John Slattery, we love you, girl.
We truly love you. Or Samantha pulling the tampon out of Carrie's vagine.
Right.
which
these are still dignified storylines.
Dignified storylines. We are taking these sacred characters and throwing them to the wayside and making them just like fodder for humiliation in the modern era.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
The trek of Miranda on this show in particular, too. I mean, I used to think like Miranda was like a, that bitch.
Yes.
And now she is
I like
that.
how you stuttered to say bitch.
Yeah, right.
You're like, I don't know if I can do it, but I'm going to do it.
But also, if anybody is, it's Miranda.
Yes.
She's like, I work at the firm, and I'm on the fence about having this fucking kid.
And she's smart.
Right.
Sometimes stupid, but smart in her stupidity still. And now it's just... Ugh. And then I have to talk about Steve, because I do hear so many people saying in defense of Steve in the new era and just like that era. I don't have any defense of Steve.
Mm-hmm.
I don't forgive that man. I don't defend that man. I don't stand up for that man. Any man, but specifically him. Like, just because Miranda's doing some wacky shit, that doesn't mean that Steve gets redeemed for everything he's ever done.
Right. Also, I don't trust any man with aw shucks energy. Miranda, I'm just sorry. Everything is just like a Muppet folding its arms.
I need that to be the new Ira French accent
on
this podcast.
I feel the audiences have been tortured.
Yeah.
And I don't want to add to that.
No. That was a gift.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Keep that forever.
I'll prime that. All right. We got to get to the rest of our episode because it's a packed one. First of all, we're going to talk about the new Spike Lee movie, Highest to Lowest.
A Spike Lee joint.
And in addition to that movie conversation, you're going to convince me that I'm wrong about the movie Weapons, a movie where the conversation around it has sustained multiple weeks. So we can't just let it go now.
No, never.
And you're apparently a huge fan.
I'm a huge fan.
You called it 10 out of 10.
You say that like it's a crazy statement.
Right.
I am famously terrified. It's not. I am famously terrified of all scary movies. Like a scary movie commercial comes on at 7:30 p.m. and I'm like, no, ban this. Actually, I'm going to write a bill. And that won't go well in this age. I'm going to wait till we get a Democrat in leadership.
Okay.
And then
so
I'm going to
never.
write a bill.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Shout out to the fascists. Awesome. I will start a change.org petition to ban all scary movie previews on TV.
Yeah, if like Wheel of Fortune is on, like I can't be watching that stuff in the middle of the day.
You're killing the old people. It's elder abuse.
Yes.
Thank you.
Also joining us today is the fabulous Charlie Day, who stars in the new Ethan Coen movie Honey Don't. He is fantastic in the movie. And we, of course, also talk about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
And comedy in general. He's got probably the best opinions I've heard in a very long time.
Yes. Provocative and yet also so...
charming.
Rakish. Yeah. Yes. Lovely man. We will be right back with more Keep It. Keep It is brought to you by AG1. AG1 is the drinkable multivitamin with gut health support. And now they're introducing AG1 Next Gen. 3 new flavors with all the benefits of the original AG1. AG1's new flavors are perfect for keeping up your summer health routine. There's tropical, feel that breeze, which is perfectly vibrant and fruity with hints of papaya and passion fruit. There's berry, which has the flavor of fresh blueberry and strawberry and tastes great in a smoothie. And then there's citrus, which has a sweet and tangy lemon-orange combo that's perfect for a refreshing start to your day. And of course, you can still get AG1 Original. That is the subtle sweetness of pineapple and vanilla. Now that one's me. 1 scoop of AG1 combines your multivitamin, pre- and probiotics, superfoods, and antioxidants into one delicious daily habit. It's the easiest thing you can add to your daily routine to support your whole body health. Backed by 4 clinical trials, AG1 Next Gen is clinically shown to support gut health and fill common nutrient gaps. I have a real love for things that taste great and also tell me I'm going to be feeling better the next day. Gut health is everything. Did you see that Netflix documentary about your gut biome? Lots is going on there, and it's actually not all that disgusting. Look it up. Make your daily health drink more flavorful. Give the new AG1 flavors a try today. Head to drinkag1.com/keepit. When you subscribe, you'll also get a free welcome kit worth $76 that includes 5 AG1 travel packs, a shaker, canister, and scoop. That's drinkag1.com/keepit to get started. From the creator of BoJack Horseman comes a new comedy that blends humor and heartbreak. Long Story Short. It's all about family and all the ups and downs that come with it. Long Story Short brings the same sharp, heartfelt storytelling that will hit a little too close to home. If you've ever had a family or tried to escape one, this show is for you. Watch Long Story Short, August 22nd, only on Netflix. Spike Lee and Denzel Washington are reunited, and it feels so good. Their 5th joint together, Highest to Lowest, dropped Friday. Today, we're going to get into all of our thoughts, wants, criticisms. So, Taylor, before we get into this film, would you consider yourself a Spike Lee fan?
See, I didn't walk in here to get my black card taken. This is, Ashton, like, this is a setup.
I fold my arms too.
No,
like
what are we
for
talking about here? I cannot say I am not a Spike Lee fan.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense to me to not be a Spike Lee fan. But I have to be fully transparent here. My movie consumption and enjoyment era did not start until I moved to LA.
Oh, really?
Yes. So like going to the movie theaters, enjoying movies, growing up with movies, that's not really something that was in my veins or in my blood. Like I started going to movies because I moved here and I got bored, right? And so my movies that I like tend to be very, very old school, 40s, 50s, 60s, 40s, 50s movies.
You're on the right podcast.
Yes, I know, which is why I listened to this before I ever got here. Love you much. So am I a Spike Lee fan? Yes, I enjoy his movies. Do I remember all the specific quotes, all these big moments in culture? Not necessarily. I was traumatized by Do the Right Thing.
Oh, how so?
That final scene?
Oh, just the actual nature of the movie.
How so?
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on in that movie.
My introduction to police brutality? Yeah.
Right, sure.
Yes,
sure.
no. So that was my, okay, the social commentary is real here. And that, I won't say it opened up or awakened my experience to social injustice. I'm a Black girl that grew up in Detroit, Michigan. Like, I saw it with my own eyes. But that was a moment where it just felt like a conversation was meant to had. And I don't know that when I was watching that movie, I was exactly ready to engage in that conversation.
Got it.
So I would dabble in and out with the Spike Lee movies. But, later growing up, that's when I started to be like, okay, I have time to appreciate this a little more.
Something I love about him is usually when he makes a movie, it ends up being a juxtaposition of a couple different genres. Like I watched School Days recently, which stars Lawrence Fishburne. I think he was Larry Fishburne in those days. But first of all, in that movie, 3 different world cast members are in it. It's just shocking to see them move from one college to another college. Yeah. But there are musical sequences in that movie, in addition to it being about social commentary near the end. Do the Right Thing, of course, has lots of funny scenes, in addition to being unbelievably brutal and literally leaving you with questions at the end. The new movie, Highest to Lowest, this is a movie that starts off feeling like it's going to be more of a social commentary than it is. Like you sort of feel like it's going to be a class themed movie based on like conversations Denzel Washington, who plays this music mogul, and his rich family are having. But then eventually it sort of turns into a conventional thriller, like somebody's kidnapped and he tries to get them back. And at the end, he has a conversation with the person who does the kidnapping that sort of verges on, you think Highest to Lowest has something to do with the economics or whatever. But it's actually just more of like an entertaining, pleasing movie that it is, I think, one of his most import-heavy movies. So I would say this is like a good 3-star movie.
We got to work on your ranking systems for stars, and we'll get into that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I need to be kind of taken down a peg because I am only getting more angry about it.
An old angry white man. Wow. Color me shocked and surprised.
I got called old today. Moving on.
Congratulations. I can barely see your crown. What are they called? No.
This woman.
It's fine. You're welcome. You need someone to take you down a peg.
Okay,
I'm here.
Yes.
I will always humble you. Never doubt that. Here's the thing with this movie. I think the opening shots are just like so interesting and beautiful to me. You see the Basquiat's on the wall. You see this like, stunning shot of Brooklyn. It made me want to move to Brooklyn. And I think a little bit of what you're saying is there cannot be a movie that exists or a piece of media that exists about Black people who are wealthy without it inherently being social commentary.
Yes, right.
And there are some conversations that happen. There's like an interesting conversation between the son and the dad of social media as well. Like,
yes, that gets into the movie too. You sort of think it's going to be an indictment of like TikTok culture and who gets famous for what reasons and stuff. Yeah.
But I also think it's interesting seeing intergenerational Black wealth and what value is attributed to what, right? So like the dad is out here and he needs to be investing in his business, protecting his empire and all those things. But his son is now inadvertently being blamed for his best friend being kidnapped.
Right.
And so he's having that conversation with his dad being like, this is something you have to engage with. I can't just carry this weight. You created this monster, but there's another thing that I'm now upholding and responsible for. We have to engage in this. So that question of responsibility, Blackness, wealth, it's all inherently tied into the movie. And I agree with you when you say, okay, like it kind of abandons that a little bit towards the back half of the movie. But when you're first doing a lot of the exposition, it's like, I am fully seated for this to be the social commentary throughout the entire movie.
I thought that part of the first act of the movie was really interesting because, by the way, Denzel Washington then gets to act his ass off. Yeah. There's a lot of like philosophical kind of quandaries on his mind, like who is he going to protect and when. Basically, he thinks his son gets kidnapped, and it turns out to be his godson who does. The kidnapper mistook one for the other, and initially he was going to throw down the 17.5. Even to just watch the movie, but the 17.5 million ransom he was going to throw down for his kid, and then he has to consider, wait, would I do the same thing for my godson? And then he has people in his ear about whether he should do it, whether he shouldn't, and then there's ramifications for when he does make the decision, like for his business and stuff. So it's sort of fascinating. Like it's this like Kerplunk energy of the marbles are falling, the greatest millennial game.
It
Kerplunk.
really is. Yeah. I adore you.
Before it turns into a more traditional thriller. And I have to say,
Kerplunk for your life.
Yeah. I fucking love that game. And by the way, could it have been Broker? I mean, it was just sticks and marbles.
Yeah, well, I mean, poor people have to have fun too.
But please, I was living it up.
Yeah.
Please. But when it becomes a thriller, it almost gets a little bit Hitchcockian because there's like the feds have to like drive through this parade where they can't get, and that's where like people like Rosie Perez, obviously a Spike Lee vet, reappears. Anthony Ramos is in the parade. That felt sort of classically Hitchcockian. But then by the end, it reminded me of Hitchcock in a bad way, which is to say a major action sequence, the crux of the film, ends on a train and then it's just suddenly over, which reminds me of North by Northwest, where Cary Grant has to pull up Eva Marie Saint from peril, and then it just transitions to them in bed together. It's just like, what? Hitchcock just got bored with this scene or something?
I kind of miss the old school. This is so completely off. But I miss that very, very, very old damsel tied to a train track and she's, hey, help. Can we put that in movies again? Like
that accent too.
That specific accent. Like it's so out of place and like the call for distress is so aggressive. You're giving me like a look of confusion and anger.
I think the problem is normally now we have to humanize the lady character and sometimes about her backstory, and which is the worst. I don't need to know that. But truly it's like a damsel is just a screaming person, and every once in a while I just want to hear, someone out there losing.
Somewhere out there losing.
Yeah, she's like, I need help. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I question
stuck.
Your mind sometimes. Even when you're in agreement with me, it's phenomenal.
You feel bad.
I feel bad?
No. I see what you're saying.
Okay.
No. Do you ever meet somebody who has the same like hobbies and interests you do, but it makes you almost hate them? Like their take on it is so like, this makes me upset.
Because when you're wrong, I'm not going to spend my time investing in you.
No.
Unless I care about you, which is why we need to talk about weapons.
Oh, yes. Okay, getting into the contentious part of this conversation.
Yeah.
So Weapons, which is a horror movie. And by the way, some people claim it's not. This is a horror movie.
It is a horror movie. I did walk out of the theater the first time because I went to the premiere. Were you there? No.
Okay. This woman.
I
it's
don't know
the belittling
what it is.
hour.
What is it with me today?
I don't know.
Maybe I am as mean as people think I am.
Oh my God.
Finally.
I remember the commenters. I should have jumped right in.
You really should have. This could have been voice of the people. No. I was at the premiere. I was terrified, shaking in my boots. I don't do scary. I don't do horror. Like I said, 7:30 p.m. Like it's elder abuse. You're showing the horror movie previews. Leave me out of it.
Said.
Yes. You'll never forget it. So when I somehow got invited to this premiere, I should not have been there. I'm literally, my knees are knocking. I'm holding the hands because I was the first person to be there, like an idiot. I'm the first person to walk this lovely carpet.
Yeah.
I'm holding the hands of the press and marketing people. I'm like, is it scary? Am I going to be okay? This is my first scary movie I've ever seen in a theater. And they looked at me. They had this whole activation of like the weapons children were sleeping on desks. And then they had a Alex character with the clown face on. He would sit up every few minutes.
Oh, okay. Already scary.
So they had me sit there when everyone's heads were down. And then the kid put his head up and they said, you should look over your shoulder. I look over my shoulder and I'm traumatized.
Yeah.
And so I'm holding the hand, still walking through this whole exhibit because nothing can just be a premiere anymore. There has to be activations there. And they say, okay, go upstairs, have fun. I said, what do you mean have fun? And I was like, is it scary? You're like, it's kind of like a haunted house. I was like, what? Are people going to jump out at me? They're like, just go upstairs and see what happens. I'm not fucking doing that. I stood at the bottom of the stairs for 25 minutes as more people came in. I waited for people to go upstairs and come back down. I said, is it okay? And 3 people came down and looked at me and said, good luck.
Oh my God. And by the way, this is at a movie premiere.
A movie premiere.
How bad could it honestly be?
I thought it was going to be miserable. And so I pussied up, and these 2 lovely queer men held my hand and they said, it's going to be fine. And I walked upstairs and it was just a dark hallway with mirrors, which is perfect for me because I'm the most vain narcissistic person you'll ever meet in your life.
Well, also when it's a public event and a movie premiere, you want to look cute.
I was so hot that night. Yeah. So I walked down the hallway. If you have seen Weapons, you remember the scene of Alex's parents sitting on the couch staring at nothing. At the end of the hallway, it was just 2 paid actors with frizzy white people hair looking into a TV. They didn't move. They didn't do anything. They just sat there the whole time.
Looking like an art installation.
Yes. And so what did I do? I posed. I served.
Oh, wow.
I took photos.
That was your survival instinct.
It was. And then
angles.
Angles. So then, and this is all irrelevant, but I'm going to tell you the whole story. So I walked down to the theater. I've made friends now. I'm going to sit with them, right? Wrong. At movie screenings, you all need to know this. Generally, you can just sit wherever you like. I had friends before the premiere tell me, sit in the back, sit on the side, so you don't feel fully immersed in the movie.
Yeah, right.
It's your first scary movie. I said, great, I'm going to do that. I walk in. I find the new friends I've made sitting in the back. I said, great, I can't wait to sit with you guys. They said, what's your seat number?
No.
I said, huh? A lovely usher walks up to me and says, can I see your ticket? I hand her the ticket. She goes, come with me. She walks me 4 aisles from the front and dead center.
Wow, you're beneath the weapon.
I am the weapon.
Yeah.
I have become the weapon. And I am there by myself because there were 3 people that didn't show up to my right and 2 people that didn't show up to my left.
So you're actually a part of everybody else's theatrical experience. Like they can see you sitting by yourself.
Yes. And if they saw that, it was like watching a scary movie. I was the black lady screaming.
I believe that's Regina Hall.
Yes. Yeah. I was Regina Hall, just like, nope. I was the stereotype and I owned it. So here's what I will say about Weapons. Leaving that theater, leaving that experience, I was skipping and giddy because that is not just one of the best movies I've seen lately. It is one of my top 10 movies ever now. Yes.
Now, why do you think it exceeded expectations? Like what about it is elevated to you?
I expected this to be straight jump scares and horror and doom and gloom the entire time. Remember at the previews, you're watching children running through the night. Yeah. Possessed children running through the night.
And I just want to say the way they're running is gay. The arms? Like, I thought that would be the mystery. Who are these gay children? And where are they going?
Maybe we should keep children away from gay people.
That's right.
I see your agenda.
You are Ira coded now. Okay,
finally. Yeah. No, I've listened too long. This is what happens when the fan becomes the host. You don't want that happening.
Right.
I'll never host Big Brother. Kidding. So this said, it seems like a movie of possession and terror and just all the terrible things. We even saw the character Alex with the clown face. You're thinking that he is going to be an evil person, a possessed person this entire movie. There is a little bit of gore. There is violence. There is mystery. But there's also so much humor. Mm-hmm. And every moment where you are faced with probably the worst jump scare, gore, horror, thriller, tension, it's immediately relieved by comedy.
Yeah.
And that made this movie perfect to me. Even in that final, big mashup scene where you've got the possessed people fighting in the house against the 2 people trying to save the day, that scene of the druggie getting tossed around back and forth, that rah douche, I'm cracking up. And this is supposed to be the climax of the movie.
Great performance by him, by the way, Austin
Phenomenal.
Abrams. Actually, I mean, I cannot knock any of the performances in the movie, nor can I knock the style of it.
Okay.
Because you're very in this movie's grasp the entire time. It's not that it's not entertaining for me. I just felt that even though the comedy was largely effective, and I mean the climactic scene, and I'm now fully spoiling the movie, and I know people probably still want to see
It's been out for like 3 weeks.
I know.
Get over it.
Right. You're listening to a podcast where we have to do this. I'm just saying. Where Amy Madigan, as this witch character who's like responsible for the disappearances, is chased down by all these possessed kids for whom the spell has been reversed.
Yes.
That was very funny. But it just felt to me like not a satisfying way to end a story about children have disappeared. I just felt like it was sort of a serious, I don't want to say serious movie, like, it's a horror movie, but it was like Highest to Lowest, entertaining, I think, bigger questions, and then ended up being just fun entertainment. I don't know. Mm-hmm. And like, I'm not saying I didn't laugh. I'm not saying I didn't jump at the jump scares.
I didn't, because I covered my face.
Yeah.
You knew they were coming. So I was just like, nope, not now. And then I hear everyone screaming, like, okay, I'm good now, I'm safe. Which is another reason why you should watch the movie. If you don't like scary things, you can tell when that moment will come. It's alleviated and you keep going. Anyway,
I will say it's a subversion to put that much comedy in it, because nothing in the movie early on indicates that it will be going for that big of a laugh later on, even though there are lines where Julia Garner, for instance, gets a scattershot laugh here and there. The way the movie turns is pretty surprising. It's just thematically, I wanted more from the movie, and actually more from the reason the kids were taken away and stuff. Just, I felt like you could add a witch to any movie. Like, I felt like you could take the third act away from Get Out and add a witch. It just didn't feel like
were they not witches?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, was there a metaphor in that movie I missed?
No, probably a few if we're getting into it.
I really need to reinvestigate the text. That said, I am sort of feeling like Amy Madigan in this movie is sort of in the Oscars conversation. Like, people are that impressed with her. What did you think of that performance?
I'm not going to sit here and say it's not an Oscar-worthy performance, but I just don't know how much weight the Oscars are going to give to a horror performance.
It would be an anomaly. Yeah.
It would. And we didn't see her for that much of the movie acting.
Yeah.
So it's got a hill to climb over, especially considering who else could be in that conversation.
Yeah, right.
That said, I do love that, like, everything I've seen of this diva's an icon. I need her backstory. Like, I love all the content I've been seeing around it, because we don't really get that in horror. And I say this as someone who's freshly minted into the whole space of watching these movies. And let me tell you, when it rains, it pours. I'm going to another horror movie premiere tonight. Like,
oh, wow.
How did that happen?
Well, it's a little bit like, I used to be terrified of roller coasters. And then the minute I liked one, it became an addiction. Yes. Like you're so surprised it could speak to you that you're like, oh, I must be missing something. And
We're
so
learning
you go
more about
back.
Lewis's addictive personality, friends.
Yes.
Let's keep him away from certain substances.
I'm going to Six Flags this weekend, so
okay, well,
the addiction will be fed.
Let us stop there.
Yeah. My thing is, sometimes all you need for a supporting nomination, namely for women, is the acting has to be there, but it really sometimes is about an iconic look. Like Allison Janney and I, Tonya, I think a huge part of that win is you remember how that woman looks. She has the bird on her shoulder, the crazy haircut, the crazy glasses, the cigarette, and it's as iconic as it is well acted. And this woman in this movie, you can't forget the look.
It's
if you
burned into your memory.
Think about Jamie Lee Curtis winning for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Was that really an acting triumph? No, it was about a look.
Don't take that away from her.
Do you stand that performance?
I don't really stand anything about that movie, and I'm ready.
I don't either.
But I will give you. I give Jamie Lee Curtis everything. I really do.
She was good in Freakier Friday. She's the rare celebrity who I think is both rad and unbelievably annoying. I don't like, you can't predict what you're going to get from her, and that actually is a testament to how cool in a way she is.
I love her charming tit offensive that's happening right now. In the promo, it's just like, it's all bosom, and I would love to rest my weary head inside that nest.
We're all pretty weary. Yeah. So I'm interested in what happens with Amy Madigan on that front. But I think what you're saying is this is a non-horror fan's horror delight.
Yes, it is. And you will be, all the things that you are too afraid to see as a non-horror fan, I'm looking you down in the eyes and I'm speaking to the entire world. All the things that you are too afraid to engage with, you will do it with glee and delight with this movie. Even the jump scares on my third time seeing this movie, yes, I did see it 3 times. I did open up my fingers when I was looking. I was like, maybe I can handle it now, because I've seen what this character now looks like. I can handle the scarier moments. And, I have not had nightmares, which is not something that ever happens to me. And I live alone. I probably shouldn't broadcast that. Oh, someone's going to kill me.
You're fucked. No, it's nice that you got a growth moment out of this. Never thought it would happen.
I never grow. I never change.
We'll be right back with more Keep It, but before that, some quick housekeeping. On New Year's Eve, 1969, you there? A union boss took out a gruesome hit, murdering his rival and most of his rival's family. That rival's surviving son didn't stand down. He rallied a crew of kids and took on one of the richest, most powerful unions in America to avenge them. Shadow Kingdom: Cole Survivor, hosted by Niccolo Minoni, follows Chip Yablonsky, son of the prominent labor leader Jacques Yablonsky, and features exclusive, unheard home tapes of the victims, my God, including chilling recordings of the killer himself. The story's being developed by Universal with Cillian Murphy attached, but you can hear the whole wild, true version first on the pod. Trust us, it's insane and so good. Listen to the trailer now on the Shadow Kingdom feed and subscribe to catch the 2-episode premiere on August 25th. Friends of the pod subscribers can binge the whole season starting August 25th by joining at crooked.com/friends or through the Shadow Kingdom Apple feed. All right, when we're back, we're joined by Charlie Day. Keep It is brought to you by Helix. I had one of those nights last night where I got home from the airport very late. And what do I want waiting for me when I get home? Nope, not a man, nor a fabulous woman. Actually, that would be pretty cool. But instead, all I really wanted was my Helix mattress. And you better believe I got it, girl. Helix knows there's no better way to test out a new mattress than by sleeping on it in your own home. That's why they offer a 100-night trial and a 10 to 15-year warranty to try out your new Helix mattress. Everybody is unique and everybody sleeps differently. That's why Helix has several different mattress models to choose from, each designed for specific sleep positions and feel preferences. So how will you know which Helix mattress works best for you and your body? Take the Helix Sleep Quiz and find your perfect mattress in under 2 minutes. You know me. I took the Helix Sleep Quiz and I was matched with a Midnight Lux mattress because I wanted something that felt medium firm and I sleep on my side, sometimes problematically, like I'll sleep right on the elbow and really test the durability there. Once you find the perfect mattress for you, Helix ships it straight to your door free of charge. Go to helixsleep.com/keepit for 27% off site-wide, exclusive for listeners of Keep It. That's helixsleep.com/keepit for 27% off site-wide, exclusive for listeners of Keep It. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/keepit. Keep It is brought to you by Honeylove. Honeylove is an independent, female-founded brand of supportive, wire-free bras. And by now, you already know our fearless producer, Kennedy, is absolutely in love with Honeylove. Yes, Kennedy's long underwire nightmare is over. We've been talking about this for weeks. And she's living the comfy, cozy life with all the support she needs. Honeylove also makes shapewear that's designed to move with you. It uses targeted compression to enhance your curves instead of squeeze them, working with your body instead of against it. Treat yourself to the most advanced bras and shapewear on the market. Save 20% off Honeylove at honeylove.com/keepit. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off. honeylove.com/keepit to find your perfect fit. After you purchase, they ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Experience the new standard in bras and shapewear with Honeylove. This week's guest is a comedy powerhouse best known for anchoring TV's longest-running sitcom, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and starring in blockbusters like Horrible Bosses and the Super Mario Brothers movie. He was Luigi. Now he's returning to the big screen, and Honey Don't, playing opposite Margaret Qualley, Aubrey Plaza, and Chris Evans. Please welcome to Keep It, the fabulous Charlie Day.
Hey, you know what's funny about being Luigi? Like kids, like little kids are super excited to meet Luigi, right? Like someone's parents will be like, hey, that guy's Luigi. But they expect to see the actual cartoon character. So there's always like a little like disappointment where they're like, well, what do you mean this weird dude is Luigi? You know, like, I don't know what to tell you, kid. It's a whole process of just talking into a microphone. But
I was just hearing from some voice actress that what she does is she tells the kid to like turn around and then she does the voice, which I think is actually worse. Isn't that scarier? Like, let me be a ghost for you.
That's uncomfortable. Why? Let me be a ghost for you is hilarious.
Yeah. I don't give the children any commands. I wouldn't recommend that.
So Honey Don't is the second in this trilogy from Ethan Coen and his wife, Trisha Cook. When you went to set knowing you'd be in a Coen brother movie, what were your expectations and how did it differ from what you thought you'd be encountering?
Well, that was the funny thing where I was expecting some sort of different magic, right? Because I mean, we all, I don't know anyone who doesn't like at least one Coen brother movie. I happen to like almost all of them. And I've seen most of them multiple times. So I was curious how they went about it. You know, is there some sort of different process? But then you get there and you say, well, it's all sort of the same thing. You know, you set the camera up over here, the person stands over there, then you turn around, you shoot the other side. I think the magic is just in their writing and their sort of idiosyncratic senses of humor. And so, you know, on set, it was pretty ordinary, except that I kept getting weirded out because every time I would like look over at the director, if I was off camera waiting for him to cue me to say a line or what have you, I was like, wow, that's that's Ethan Coen. That's one of the Coen brothers right there. And I'd have to remember, that I'm supposed to act.
Well, you're no stranger to working with big names in the industry, but some of the names on this movie were, or excuse me, film. I'll use film in this instance, but some of
Please.
the names
Oh,
in this
sure.
film were more. We're used to seeing them in more dramatic or action spaces. Chris Evans being one of them. What was it like with your chops in comedy coming into the space and working on what was really a dark comedy now?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, there's always a little sense of, how dialed up do they want things comedically? There's certain styles of comedy where you could maybe lean into the absurdness of a character a little bit more and sort of play things just slightly above real. But I don't know. My fallback is like, let's just be real first and foremost, and hopefully the words are funny and the situation's funny. And then I don't know, I think I just must like look or sound funny because half the time people say, "Hey, that was really funny. I wasn't even trying to be funny." So, I don't know. I think the job is always interestingly like every job is a little bit different, different people and different set of circumstances. And then every job always sort of boils down to the same thing, which is, it's my job between action and cut to just pretend I'm whatever character I'm playing. And that's sort of as simple as that.
But how often do you actually crave a new experience on a set? Because it sounds like at It's Always Sunny, not only do you obviously have a familiar dynamic with everybody, you guys fight in a familiar way. Like you say, the best episodes come when you fight. And I assume when you go into a new space, it's not really about fighting with the people you just met. So
Yeah.
is it a pleasure to kind of embark upon a different creative process with new people? Or are you like, but I'm already good at this other thing. Why do I have to do that?
Well, I no, I love going into it in a whole other, set of circumstances, and the best of those versions are, working with someone like Ethan and Trish, where it's not, I don't really have to do much of anything other than what I'm there to do, right? So, maybe on a small independent film with a first time director, there might be a little bit more involvement or pressure on me, but working with the Coen brothers, it's sort of like, well, I do my bit and then just get the heck out of the way, which is the greatest feeling. With It's Always Sunny, that's always like, well, if people don't like the episode, there's no one to blame but us, And when I'm just acting in someone else's movie, that's a little bit of a relief where I say, well, if they don't like the movie, it's not my fault.
There's so much comedic relief that your character specifically brings into this film. And personally, I've been craving so much more comedy in movies. And we've even heard you say in other
Uh,
interviews that that's something you've been craving. I think we've all been craving it. What do you think about comedy in this day and age in the movie theater? Have you seen films like The Naked Gun? And what do you think about that?
I just went. I went on Sunday, and that was, I guess, the second weekend of its run, and it was a packed theater, and it was so fun to watch a funny movie in a packed theater. And a really great thing happens where everyone starts laughing together, and sometimes you might even laugh harder at a joke that you don't even find all that funny because you're just in the the excitement of the group and the moment. And that happened several times in that movie where I was like, oh, here's some jokes I love and I'm dying, and here's ones that maybe I even missed the joke and I just was laughing anyway. And then I had to ask my wife, like, wait, what were they going for? And then she was like, explain it to me. And I was like, oh, right, right, right. I missed the one little moment. But I mean, that movie too, right from the beginning, there's a great joke where they have a robbery and they steal a gadget, and then the guy sort of wipes the front of the gadget, and the gadget says plot device. And I was like, all
Yes.
right,
Very cute.
I'm fully in. So, look, I love that experience. I, I'm not a huge horror fan, although I think that's what people get out of a good horror movie. I think when I saw like Get Out in the theater, we were all laughing and jumping and screaming at the same time, and that was really fun. Um, the big action movies, or the superhero movies, you can understand why an audience feels as though they want to watch that in the theater for the pure scale of it. Um, and something was really lost when we stopped going to the comedy movies, or at least when we stopped thinking that people wanted to go to the comedy movies. But I really hope that they find a way to stay alive in the theaters because for me, that's my preferred theatrical experience. I think I'd rather go see something funny or something the Coen brothers do, which is always funny, or even like even Paul Thomas Anderson, like those movies can be heavy but also funny the whole way through. So I go to that theater to laugh as much as anything else.
Do you have a seminal movie going experience with a comedy that sort of set you in motion, making you realize like, oh, comedies belong in the theater? Like I remember as a kid, like when Ace Ventura came out and you're 9 years old, that is the perfect thing to experience in a theater because you are allowed to simply scream, which is what kids want to do, you know?
Yeah, yeah, Dumb and Dumber was
Yeah.
like that for sure, seeing that at the theater. Even I remember being pretty young going to see The Three Amigos,
Mm.
and we were all just dying laughing in the theater at that. And then, I mean, everything from Will Ferrell's whole heyday. It was Elf and The Hangover when that came out, and it was so fun getting to do the Horrible Bosses movies and I sometimes I'll say I feel like Indiana Jones sliding under the wall and grabbing his hat right at the last second, just having been in a few big budget comedy movies before they stopped making them. But
Mm.
I'm hoping they're inching their way back into the theater.
Well, Charlie, I think you're even pointing to something that we're seeing, even with Weapons. Spoiler alert, sorry everyone, but Weapons has so many comedic beats in it. So I think even if you aren't going to the theater specifically for a comedy, we're seeing comedy creep up into so many different genres, and it's just speaking to the demand that all of us have to want to see that big budget, full on, unabashed, unshameless, shameless approach to desire for comedy.
Yeah, I think so. And even if you look at The Naked Gun and it's done okay, I think people are seeing it. The reviews are great. That's not even two big comedy stars, that's
Mhm.
Liam
Yeah.
Neeson and Pam Anderson, who are both great in the movie. So you have to sort of wonder if you give me a really big laugh out loud funny movie starring Zach Galifianakis, I'm there, I'm seated.
Mhm. Mhm.
uh, so I do hope. Look, also, I think just as a society, the great thing about comedy is it's a real unifier where you can watch a drama or something and you don't know whether you're having the same experience as someone else in the theater, but you can be on whatever side of let's say any sort of theoretical or political aisle you want to be on. If you're sitting in that theater and laughing together, you're all brought together. And you know that's a little bit hoity-toity, but I do think it helps our society to give people opportunities to come together as a group and laugh. It seems crazy to me to not give them a shot.
I brought up before how you guys at It's Always Sunny will often fight about scenes, have extremely strong instincts about how it's written, about how it's performed. And my question is, what are you most ardent about defending? Like, is it a visual thing you're defending? Is it like the wording of a joke? What do you find yourself sort of most crusading to keep as you envision it?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think it's usually more story things, and tonal things. I think our biggest arguments come uh, over tone and the reality of maybe a character doing something in a story, or even just the types of episodes we're going to do. Where this season, we have a lot of like throwback episodes that really feel like our older episodes, like one at a dog track and one with an ambulance where they're EMTs. And then we have these big crossover things like Abbott Elementary and The Golden Bachelor. And I think like one of the arguments that came up in this room was, how many of those to do, and with some people pushing to do more of them and some people pushing to do less of them. Those are the types of arguments that come up more than like specific jokes or moments, sort of the bigger, grander ideas where it's like, well, what is the show now, or what is what is an episode, or how how far away are we getting from what we used to do, and how much do we have to push to keep growing? Those kind of big ideas are the ones that we wrestle with the most, I think.
It's Always Sunny is now officially the longest running comedy on TV. What is something that you haven't done yet that you are dying to do? Is it something so ambitious that you're afraid to even bring it up, or you've been fighting for it for years and you're just like, come on, guys, it's time. We've been around. We have the chops. Let's just do it.
Well, to FX's credit, there really is no sort of bridge too far. You know, they they have really let us do pretty much anything we want to do, whether it's a film noir episode, or we're, you know, skiing down a mountain, or you know, or these crossovers, or all the big ideas. They let us go there. I think it's more like the people and the performers, you know, where it's like, oh, it'd be great to have, I'm just throwing out a random name, John Turturro, you know, on the show or something. You know, I think those are the sort of things where it's like, oh, before it's too late, I wonder if we could get some of our acting heroes on the show.
Mm.
But in terms of like the story ideas, I don't know what's left, you know, being underwater or going to space, or, you know, something like that. I mean, we've
That
done a
sounds
lot.
feasible, to be honest. So, I mean, you say it as if it couldn't happen.
It sounds like a Magic School Bus crossover.
Yeah.
There you go. That's right. An inner space season.
Who is likelier to surprise you while you're acting alongside them? The people on It's Always Sunny, or people when you do other movies?
Oh, the people on Always Sunny, right? So,
Really? Yeah.
Yes, I think so. Because when I'm doing another movie, I have no expectations about the performer. But if suddenly Glenn does something that I know him so well, and if suddenly he does something that I've never expected or seen or thought that he might do, or Rob does it, or Danny or Caitlin, it really throws me. And then I'm like tickled, and I, you know, laugh so easily. I think I also have to like be a little bit more professional on someone else's set, you know, but like on our own set, if somebody does something that's totally surprising and unexpected, I mean, and I have that sort of permission to lose it. I often do.
Well, look, if you'll allow me to get a little meta here, you're in the middle of
Please.
a press run for this movie now. It's a grind, right? The press, all the junket, it's a crazy grind, all these different questions, all these different crazy things you have to do, like eating hot wings or doing all these game shows and all these different things. What would your ideal interview setup look like in the modern age?
Well, you know, I actually like where press is going, you know, the sort of traditional talk show experience. It's fun because of the history of it, and you're saying, "Oh, I'm going on Conan, or I'm going on Letterman or something," and that's exciting because it's like a performance in a show. But the actual sort of meat of the interaction, you know, the quality of the exchange, isn't that deep. It can't be that deep because there's just not enough time, and they have to have a quick viral moment. But in the world of podcasting and streaming, where we can really have the time to get in depth and have a meaningful conversation, I find it both refreshing to do and refreshing to listen to. I mean, some of my favorite pieces of entertainment in the last 20 years have been some great podcast or interview that someone has given, where I've gotten a real sort of inside look at this person. Um, so I'm liking this direction. Now, personally, I don't feel like I need to eat a bucket of chicken wings to have a good interview. And incidentally, I was on that show pretty early on before I had any clue. Sometimes I do these things and I don't vet everything. I just say, yeah, go ahead, put me on whatever. And then I get there and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm eating chicken wings. You know, like I gotta be a little more careful before I get shot out of a cannon or something.
That could be the next viral moment. I
I'm
think
gonna
you want to
say,
hang on to that one.
Again, stop saying these things out loud.
Yeah.
They are possible.
Yeah,
and doable.
right.
I guess my last question is, I mean, you and the cast of that show and the people who write it, you must be some of the most perpetually inspired people on the planet, that this show can keep going. I know I've heard you say before, after every season, you feel like you're done, but you somehow get wrapped up in it again. But are you shocked to be inspired, or do you find it like you just have an organic way to keep finding new things to think about and write about?
No, I'm always shocked. Every year I go in And I think this started like season 3, so 17's a joke, but like we're like, well, we did it. We did all the ideas. We did all the jokes. What are we gonna do? Um, so much of it is the chemistry of people. I think this season 17, is one of the best we've done in years. And that's because a lot of our writers that sort of were with us through the bulk of the early days came back. And these are people who we sort of, I'll say we launched careers. I think I can say that, which is, it was like a lot of their first writing jobs, and they've gone on to work on other shows or even create shows. And last year we managed to get most of them back, and it just sort of felt like the band was back together again. And it's that getting together with the people that make you laugh, that's what's inspiring. So it's that sort of group communal think that we get in that room, and all of a sudden somebody here has a story about their father, or somebody there saw something on the street the other day, and the creative juices get flowing, and next thing you know, we got a season. So I think it's really that meeting of people that just makes the show what it is.
Well, thank you for visiting with us today. And also, it's crazy to think about how long you've physically been on TV. Like, you are in the annals with people like Vanna White now. It's so crazy.
Yeah. It's weird for me. It's weird for me. I mean, I was a pretty young man when we started the show, and I'm getting old. But and it's weird watching the show where we're like, wow, we just all look like such old people now. But it's also like the greatest gift ever, just to be like, oh man, I've been in people's living rooms for 20 years, which is like really a great, sweet thing. So yeah, I'm gonna try to keep working, until they kick me out of this business.
We'll encourage that. Yeah, we're gonna say do it.
Absolutely.
I thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much for being here, Charlie.
Thanks, Charlie.
Yeah, it was really easy. Thanks a lot.
Thank you to the fabulous Charlie Day for being here. Thank you to Taylor Hale. And also, of course, you can watch Big Brother Unlocked on CBS. If you need to know any more about Big Brother, my God, they feed you some content with that show. And we'll see you next week.